PulseChain 100x. What do you think about those returns, friends? I've heard a rumor that PulseChain cores altogether could get to 125 billion market cap. It's about 100x from, roughly today. If you add up the cores, they're around 1.5 B, around there, 1 or 1.5 billion. Which sucks. I mean, like, if you're curious as well, friends, Eric Wall, so Eric's bet was that the critical price for PulseChain had to be that it would be 16 billion. Okay, for just PLS. But then all the cores are like 1.3 to 1.5. So even if you were betting on all the cores, pretty much it's still down 90% from that. So it would need a 10x to get in there. So no matter what metric you use, it's pretty much in the clear. And that's why it's interesting just to think about upside targets, especially here. I really like this like Super Nintendo RPG action version of Richard Hart and stuff out here. So if you're looking at these number, friends, remember I made this post, made many of them. I showed many coins. They stop around this 100 billion resistance zone, 100 billion. It was like this number, right? And I know it's like, it's gone off previous cycles and stuff like here, but I found it interesting. So the only coin that didn't was Bitcoin. Bitcoin in 2017 hit 100 billion market cap. So it's about $6,000. And then it shot up to 300 billion. So it went to 20K. Then it came back down. Yeah. Every other coin, I think pretty much did. I think Ethereum bursted above 100 billion, Ethereum and XRP, but only went barely enough. Okay. I think maybe they went to like 120, 150 billion. Everything else around this number, I mean, like looking at the odds, it was quite telling for some reason around this $100 billion number. And that's also why if you're looking at Chainlink or any other coin, having that roughly $100 billion number, it's like this, I don't know why it is just this market cap number. It's not just Fugazi. Seems like for some reason, right? I'm like even some telling tales, like different coins. So XRP, Corridanzo, ADA, BNB, they all hit around 100 billion and they just stopped there. 2021. Different coins, different sectors, different ethos. It was actually fantastic to see all these things kind of play out. Now, if PulseChain cores got 125 billion market cap, around 100x today, if it went that way, pDAI's market cap would be like 30 to 40 billion with that. So you might say, wait. So how does that work out? So even if the pDAI got to $1 today, it's like 26 or 28 billion. And then if there's even like more burned coins, it's like less. But no, I guess the theory is what would happen is if the prophecy fulfills, people, remember friends, true to Richard Hart ethos, people would be depositing their own coins. They'd be depositing their own core coins into the PulseChain MakerDAO vault. Yeah. They're depositing their own core coins into there. Right now you can't. Right now it's broken. So it needs voters. It needs benevolent people. There's like 30 things broken. But if it ends up going out the whole way, and as little things get fixed, like price adjusts upwards, so if that does happen, people could put in their own Pulse, their own PulseX, their own Hex, their own Ink, their own PWBTC, and then they could then mint pDAI. They could then go mint it themselves. So it increases the market cap of pDAI. And that's why, friends, even Richard posted the chart of DAI, which is actually here. This was his post. He goes, something has inflated the pDAI supply by multiples, the free DAI fork. pDAI has 24.5 billion supply now. DAI had under 10 billion at the Ethereum fork. Who's minting that supply and why? It's rumored dumping and bridging out. So, see, friends, this is Ethereum. Is Ethereum DAI, eDAI, right? It went up to 10 billion, came back down to 5, right? So the supply of these stable coins does go up. You can actually see it if you go and look at its market cap, and you can go to Ethereum, CoinGecko here, and you can have a look at it. Right here, right? So you click on that market cap chart. You can see, this is the supply. The supply went from here, and then it went all the way up, peaked at 10 billion. It's come back down. It's actually down to 3.2. Interesting. Why? I think people are moving to the soy. They're moving to this soy version because eDAI is getting sunset out. That's wild, bro. This is crazy, man. They're actually giving it up. And actually, here it is right now. This is the market cap of USDS Soy, and it's up to 8 billion. Now, if you're curious as well, why did MakerDAO, why have they gone to the Soy version and put a blacklist function in? Why are they under? I did the research, and it's because they want, see, they care about number go up. They don't really care about crypto as much. So what they want is they want the market cap of DAI. It's not DAI anymore. It's USD Soy. So they want their Soy currency to hit 100 billion market cap plus. That's what they want to be. Effectively, these MakerDAO guys, they just want to own a bank of sorts. They just want to be bank owners. But like, okay, but you man, what a colossal truck up, by the way. I really hope Richard or the PulseChain pioneers, I really hope we do this community takeover of DAI. You guys are an embarrassment, by the way. Do you forget why you came into crypto in the first place, bro? It's because banks don't allow people to have free control over all their money. Okay, they don't. So now you're in here. So what you've done is you've go, oh, I want my number to go up for the supply. Let me go freaking suck them off and go put a blacklist function, and then just really go back to the traditional financial system anyway. Why'd you come into crypto in the first place, dude? But look, there's a reason for everything, friends. It's a nice silver lining. If the MakerDAO founders, and remember, Nikolai, rest in peace, Nikolai's dead. The only guy who wanted the free money, by the way, they killed him. That's weird. And the other people who want to vote for the blacklist function are still alive. So, we have to be thankful, though, because they made the tech. It works. It survived the black swans. It works beautifully. It's like, okay, they're throwing it away. They're like throwing it away. Well, okay, we'll pick it up. It feels like that's what's happening, okay? So if this story plays out, friends, the way it is, that's why I'm looking at PulseChain, and I'm looking at PulseChain in the context of this. So if it plays out such that the SkyNet MakerDAO, they throw away DAI, maybe the PulseChain pioneers find a way for pDAI to get to $1. Maybe, I don't know. But if they do, the theory is, right, everyone's got their core coins. And I'll actually go and show you right here. So everyone's got like their core coins, friends. They've come here, core coins, and you can put them into the vaults. And then if they're in the MakerDAO vaults, you can then mint pDAI. So you basically borrow on it and then you can go spend it. Okay. So for example, someone could have $1 million of Pulse and they don't want to sell it. Okay. Why? Here's the thing. If you sell it, taxable income, number one. So you have to, so let's say, I want to cash out $1 million of my Pulse. Okay, so you literally go have, now you've thrown it out, now you literally owe the government 300 grand off the bat. Now you've actually got 700. So people want to avoid that because they don't want to like sell their supply, right? So if you put it into a protocol, DeFi protocol, you put it in there, you might say, you know what, I don't actually need that $1 million. You go, maybe I only just need 200,000. So you borrow the pDAI. You can actually use it to spend stuff, but most likely what people will do in the bull market is if there are PulseX yield farms going, right? You know, PulseX friends, if there are PulseX yield farms and they're looking very lucrative, like right here, yeah, these numbers are very low. The yields are very low, 0.4%, 1%. If the ink price is higher and they're lucrative, what people could do is they borrow that pDAI, right? Hopefully it's $1. Hopefully. And they're paying an interest rate. Let's say it's like 7%. But what if the yield is like 40% here? Let's say the yield on ink and Pulse is like 40%. Yeah. Or it just needs to be bigger than 8. Let's say 20%. What they do is what we've seen in the bull market. They take the money, they throw it in, right? And then they using the yields to pay themselves back. And that's the self-fulfilling flywheel, the positive flywheel effect. And you just got to think about what happens. If more people are doing that, they borrow the pDAI, that's making the supply go up. They're buying ink, ink's price goes up. Now the yield goes up again. Okay? And then also funny, because people are buying Pulse and PulseX, they're buying more stuff, the prices go up again, and then it allows you to borrow even more. Like in a theoretical example, you know that guy, let's say you got $1 million. You could borrow like 100K. Yeah. And then let's say over like the next 30 days, Pulse, because of all the market doing this, everything's up at 2x. Well, now your collateral, it's not $1 million anymore. Your collateral's now gone up to 2 million. So in this example, right, when you have 1 million of Pulse, core coins, right? You borrow 100K pDAI, but then 1 month later, because people are buying Pulse, it's worth 2 million. You can borrow another 100K. See what you can do? And then well, you think, hey, Simon, what if it goes up again another 2x? Okay, if it goes up again another 2x, what happens is, this is the loop, right? 4 million, you borrow another 200K. That's what ends up happening. And you're paying that rate, and then like you're borrowing and buying. That's, I guess, the turbo hyperloop. That would be the hyperloop theory of it playing out. That's how you would get these big gargantuan numbers out here. And so if you just do a rough number for some friendship and kindness, if you did roughly, friends, about 100x from today, I know people want, look, it's not about like, man, I want higher. Everyone always wants a higher number. I'm just giving you an example of how this thing could play out. I'm just guessing, right? If you don't like it, you can click sell, by the way. Pulse 20x sack price, PulseX 20x, Hex 55 cents, Inc 100 bucks, pDAI $1. Remember, pDAI would be the most insignificant from these at this point in time. Just the only interesting part about pDAI is it could be the key to how it all gets kickstarted. Yeah, that's why if you're holding the core coins, okay, you don't know how they get pumped. You just believe somehow Ethereum and everything else works its way to get pumped. That's the risk you're taking, so you get whatever it is here. But that's why, friends, even if it gets to this number, they're about 100x away, yeah? With pDAI, it's like, well, it was at one point 1,000x away. Yeah, so maybe, as Richard Hart says, the stop buying pDAI actually went to 1,500x away. You see? So if you're getting it with those multiples, there's a reason why that multiple's so big. It's because the risk is like, okay, not only is it going to be a path for it to win, this is the actual path. That's what you're betting on. You don't know that, right? You don't know that. But that's why it carries more risk, but the reward is higher. You do make more reward. And then everybody just decides where they want to be on the risk curve as well. Everyone just decides, hey, like maybe that's too much risk for them. Maybe they diversify. Maybe they do 90% call, 10% lottery. Maybe they just don't participate at all. Maybe people just like sitting in hex yield and staking. Like, for example, Tam-Tams. Maybe just people like losing ink. There's a lot of green logo believers. Some people just like the PulseChain validators. I know Rector Michelle using the validators. A lot of people just like, in Corey. A lot of people are just sitting in the validators as well. And there's other people as well, like PulseX. PulseX is real yield. Buy and burn is happening effectively. Everyone's got their own like mixing and matching and stuff out here, but pretty much everything's bonded by the same network effect. And also, I've thrown it in here, friends. When you're looking at any of these, the numbers we're looking at, most likely it's not higher due to Ethereum being a Kakari this cycle. Okay, too much choice. So I'm just guessing the PulseChain pioneers, maybe Richard Hart, maybe, could be anybody. Whoever's behind, it's not our fault, friends. It's Ethereum. Ethereum being, bro, we are down towards 1,700 in April 2025, post Bitcoin halving year. We thought Ethereum was going to be closer to 8 to 10K by now and then go up even higher. So I'm just going to show you ETH right now. This is it, the ETH price. So that's what, look, if Ethereum, friends, was right now 7,200, I guess maybe the numbers are higher for all of it altogether. The problem is, bro, it's man, you're down at dog poop levels. Just what a letdown. ETH, BTC, and everything. I even have this old message here from one of my previous videos. Look at this. Option A, Ethereum hits 10K and the stack has 1.7 billion. Or if somebody has a plan for a pDAI to peg, if the purchasing power accessibility is anywhere from 500 million up to 10 billion. So that scenario, that's your risk part, right? So a lot of people in the core coins, they believe Richard's just going to use the core coins to go pump them directly. Which that's why core coins, you don't carry as high as a reward than pDAI. You're not as because it's basically like all paths lead to core coins. You win no matter what. Whereas if you pDAI, you're like, oh, this is the path that's going to end up getting it. That's why there's higher risk with it. And that's why more people. That's why, look, even if let's say if the prices keep going up, pDAI gets to 1 or 5 or 10 cents, there will be many people who say, he doesn't have to peg it now, but core coins are definitely going to pump. Or he could do half and half. He could pump us first, and then we do the pDAI peg. So people are going to argue about every step of the way. And just speculators, people guessing out here. Let me know what you think, though, friends. Obviously, these numbers are big from here, but these numbers are like horrendous FUD compared to years ago. But right now, man, like these numbers, everyone would be, I know they'd be massively euphoric. I mean, even Pulse at 1x sack price is euphoric out here. Pulse, if Pulse got to 20x sack price, what would that look like? That would look like a going up here, and it would be somewhere like here. Right? It'd be 2x above. That's what it would be. Now, you got to remember as well, friends, during these wild times, like, it can be minus 2x from the target or plus 2x. So I just want to show you the band, how big the band is. So this is minus 2x and this is plus 2x. Okay, so you have this box out here. But that box, if you put it on a linear chart, let me show you how big that freaking box is, okay? That is an enormous, look at that, look at that. Whoa, that's a huge box, right? That's a big box. It could be up 2x or minus 50% of where it stops out. The most important part, I guess, is if you believe and you're holding from cheap prices, you at least get the benefit of just going towards there and you can decide to do what you want. So there you go, friends. There's different theories, the HyperLoop stuff. If PulseChain, all the core coins did 100x from today, yeah, I don't think it's a failure. It's just because of Ethereum, man. Ethereum third cycle curse, right? Maybe Ethereum's going to be closer towards 8 to 10 this cycle instead of the 17. So if you really wanted a guess, hey, what would have made the juicy scenario play out, massively juicy? It would be Ethereum hitting more towards this 16K to 17K. That's what it would be. But unfortunately, we ain't getting that, are we? But I'm going to leave this thing up here just so we know, man. This is I like looking at this part. These are the alternatives. There are alternatives. The wild card if we can get this part playing out here. Remember, a lot of ifs, a lot of maybes, speculating. Ultimately, the price dictates. Or would you be happy with 100x from here? I know you would, man, because everyone's like losing their minds right now. Like, subscribe, bell button, or catch you soon.